News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
And a very good evening to you and a warm welcome to Newsline Live. Now then, the Imports and Exports Control Act number 1 of 1969, under that a new ruling has been given by the Minister of Finance. It has controlled the importation of 370 items ranging from tires, perfumes, shampoos, fruits, and you name it, it's all there. This is obviously going to cause grave concern to different sections of our economy. Now then, it hasn't been banned, but you can't import it without permission, and that's the point. To discuss this and other matters, we've got here a very vociferous critique of governance in our country, and we're glad that there are people like that who are willing to come out and speak openly and clearly and lucidly. None other than the President's Counsel, Mr. Maitri Gunratna. Very good evening to you, Maitri.
Good evening, Faraz. Thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely a pleasure, and thank you. You always save the bacon in a way for Newsline, and we were let down by somebody else. Doesn't matter. We're not often let down. Still, now then, 370 odd items. As I say, they're not banned, but you need a license from the import controller before you can bring them in. What does this indicate to you?
For us, I think it indicates very clearly that we are going to the 70-77 era once again. If you see the Import Control Act, 1 of 1969,
yeah,
it is self-explanatory. In 69, they foresaw the era they were going to rule from 70 to 77, and it was a era of queues and queues and queues. So I think the government has been able to develop the gas queues, the petrol queues, the food queues, and various queues in the kerosene queues, all that in the last maybe 2 months. And now I think the last straw which is going to break the camel's back is the gazette coming in to ban most of the essential items. Now for us, the repercussions of this is, you would I think agree with me, the COVID pandemic situation which was prevalent in this country for the last 2 years is slowly veering away or slowly moving away from the world. Yeah. And we as a country are now opening our doors for tourism, and I think the tourism chairperson of the Tourism Development Authority has done a good thing. They have given 1 year multiple entry visa so that people can come to the country and spend a longer time in Sri Lanka. Yes. So with these overtures and welcoming gestures, yeah, what do? We are going into a situation where even if a tourist comes here, how does he transport himself or move himself from the airport to the hotel or his lodging, wherever he is? Even if he comes, where is he going to get the food? How are they going to cook the food? So these are serious concerns, and we have gotten for us into a vicious circle, because now we say we don't have dollars. Yeah. Why we are doing all this curtailment is coming because of the lack of dollars. So once we admit that we have no dollars, but now what we are trying to do there again is we are trying to restrict the inflow of dollars once again. So if you see the tourism, now in the months of January, February, there was an average of about 10,000 tourists coming into the country. So if it continued, it would have gone up to about 20-25,000 tourists. So 25,000, we'll say 15,000 tourists coming a day would have taken it to about 450,000 tourists a month, yeah, which is a sizable amount of tourists coming into the country on a monthly basis. Because in the West, people are tired of being under the pressure of the pandemic. Yeah. They want to leave. They want to have long holidays. Yes. So we are having a good time. We can make use of a good time if we have the basic things going. So what I'm saying is, for us,
the basic things, the basic things. I'm looking at the list here. It's item 299 and 300. Well, let's start with 298. You know, if you have elderly people who are coming to Sri Lanka, they tend to have more money because they're retired and they've got better spending capacity. Now then, preparations for oral or dental hygiene, including denture fixative pastes and powders. So they can't buy their dental paste. So, you know.
No, they will have to bring it.
They'll have to bring it.
So we'll have to.
Hopefully they'll bring enough.
Before they come into Sri Lanka, we will have to send them a list of things which we do not have here.
Right.
So they may have
It'll be pretty comprehensive.
Yeah, it has to be a comprehensive list which they send, so that then they will know. But my point is, for us, who is going to go through all this inconvenience if they have to come to Sri Lanka and face this situation? They might as well go to, I mean, that's why people are going to Maldives, that's why people are going to other countries in the world.
Indeed.
I mean, we have a beautiful island, we have a beautiful country to show.
But all that amounts to nothing.
All that amounts to nothing now, because they absolutely have no plan, no farsightedness with regard to what they are doing, because the only way out now is tourism. Because for us last year they
because it's instant money.
It's instant money, and there is no investment. The private sector has invested for tourism already. Private sector, private individuals have invested on tourism. So it is all there. They only have to keep the infrastructure going, and the basic necessities going, keep the home fires burning, so that the tourists will come here and they will enjoy the country, they will bring the dollars, and the government is going to benefit, and they will come out of this precarious situation.
But you know, a couple of weeks ago somebody pointed out that when they went in the supermarket, they noticed all these sort of imported fruits, oranges and so on, but imported. And he came on the program and he said, well, you know, I noticed these things, and I was wondering, what is this business about no dollars? Then it's obviously a case that there is a certain treatment for the HAs.
What do you mean by HAs for it?
Henchayas.
Okay.
The henchayas, they have access to the dollars because somebody somewhere is importing them. Right? And this list again, as I am at pains to point out again, these are not banned. You can import them provided you get the permission of the import controller.
Yeah, for us now, that again, now the queues for diesel and petrol and various things like that, now that again now has created a situation where you have to either pay more money to get it, or you have to pay the pumper something.
Yeah.
So these restrictions, queues, are bringing in more controls and corruption. So
I know a friend who paid 4,000 rupees for the standard size gas cylinder.
Yeah. So now what I'm saying is, when all this comes in, when these restrictions come in for us, what is going to happen is there is going to be corruption. People are going to demand for money, like in the 70s and the 77. During that time, for us to get a packet of milk, you had to pay sometimes 3 times the value of the milk.
People like Ian Wickranacker made his name there because he was the bribery commissioner.
Yes.
He must have gone overboard. You know, he would have been overworked because there's so much of bribery going on.
Yeah, but our bribery commission is almost defunct.
Now it is.
Now it is defunct.
They can't even file proper cases.
That's
they don't get the signatures of 3 commissioners.
So I don't think
out.
they will ever have the work they had during Mr. Ian Wickramanacker's time, because at least he tried to do something.
Mr. Ian Wickranacker also, post his term as the bribery commissioner, ended up as a group director here at the Capital Marriage Group.
Okay, that's news to me.
Yes, it was very well, and you know, I suppose he was rather bored here because you know, he didn't have.
There was no bribery here.
There was no bribery and corruption to catch hold of here. So anyway, but that's on a lighter note. But you know, refrigerators, freezers, other refrigerating equipment, air conditioners, the whole lot. These are all a direct hit at the tourism, the leisure industry.
So that's what I'm telling you. For us, we are getting into a vicious circle, and I don't think there is a way of coming back.
I know it's good to promote your local product.
No, definitely,
that's true.
Definitely.
But you know, unfortunately, we don't have a local equivalent of some of the imported sources, which
for
tourists might want.
We'll say the sources are maybe a negligible amount, but we'll take the fruits.
Yeah.
I mean, we are a country, a tropical country.
Yeah.
We are not still self-sufficient in fruits. We are getting all our oranges from outside. We are getting our grapes from outside.
Yeah.
Apples may not grow here.
Yes, but isn't that my fundamental right to be able to eat an apple? Because we don't grow it here.
No, but at least for us, there's a good substitute: the pears, the Norelia pears, which
I'll have to change my taste buds.
Which is very, very. I mean, it can be grown here. So what has happened is we have just slept. Our agriculture department, agriculture ministry, we have slept without planning out import substitution. This is the biggest problem. Dairy products. Now, do we need to import various kinds of cheese? Do we need to import various kinds of milk? Do we need butter? I mean, we can make it here for us.
Yeah.
We can get those companies to come and make it
here. But then they import the wrong type of heifers, for example. They need a special diet, and we're not geared to that yet.
No, for us that what happened was they bought those heifers and they sent them to Hambantota and dry areas. You can't rear those cattle there. You need to send them to Norelia and.
But they need an acre per animal.
But still now so many plantations have been run to the ground. Plantations have shrunk. Tea lands have shrunk from 100 to about 40%.
But shouldn't it be the other way around? Tea is one of our bigger earners. Shouldn't they be encouraging that?
No, for us, but how can you encourage tea? Because now last year they bought this ban on fertilizer.
That was ill thought of.
Yeah, the ban on fertilizer, it reduced the tea production by about 30 to 40%. The effect of it is still being seen. And now they say that this fertilizer ban has been lifted, but fertilizer prices are 7,000 rupees a bag. A bag of fertilizer, bag of 50 kilos, it's about 7,000 rupees a bag of 50 kilos. So for us, I mean, who is going to fertilize? So we have now got into this situation where our production is going down, and tea, rubber, and all the agricultural products for us in Sri Lanka, we get 80 to 85% of the money coming in the form of dollars. So that is our earning capacity. That is where we can earn the money. And furthermore, by pegging the dollar at 202, at least now they have taken the decision to increase it to 230. By pegging it at 202 for us, what happened was they created a massive black market. The black market, they were paying 250, 260 rupees a dollar. And I think the black market had more dollars coming in rather than the central bank or the government of Sri Lanka. So now they realized this black market is doing a flourishing business. They went and increased it. But still, if you will have to, most probably you will have to float it. Otherwise, what is going to happen for us, the black market is going to flourish, and there is no way of.
So one of our viewers has obviously got it right then, and this is the message: 0772 300 305 by WhatsApp or by SMS. 0772 300 305. And here's this message: there is absolutely no shortage of dollars in Sri Lanka. It is just that all official channels have been blocked.
That's right.
Millions are available at higher prices. That's exactly what you're saying.
What I'm saying. You can buy the dollars for us. You can buy the dollars but you have to pay a price for it. You have to pay a price. That is all because I think this Cabral's ill thought of ideas. I mean, he's sitting there.
But is he not being directed by the Minister of Finance?
I mean, he was there before, and these are his theories which are being implemented. I think now there is a problem between the Governor of the Central Bank and the Minister of Finance. They are not seeing eye to eye. So who is paying the price for it? The general public of Sri Lanka are paying the price for it.
Previously they said that it was all Dr. P.V. Jayasundar's fault, so they got rid of him.
They got rid of one fellow and they bought a guy who is worse than that. That's the irony of this country.
But at the end of the day, the public are holding, the baby basically. What on earth can the public do? We can't all leave this country. There's somebody I saw at one of those candle sort of protests, the silent protests, who said, so he wasn't silent at that moment, but he said, I'm not leaving this country.
No, none of us are going to leave this country. I don't want to leave this country. But now for us, we are thinking of going back to the the living conditions of the Stone Age man, because the rulers of the country are putting us back. Now we'll say, if the Norotchole power plant doesn't get its coal, we'll have to go in for about a 15-hour power cut a day. They don't have the money to bring the coal, and by March, if they don't start unloading the coal for us, we are going to have a problem.
Well, I'm going to say this bit now, because you just mentioned power. Last Sunday, Niranjala Aryavancha, writing for the Sunday Times, pointed out that there is a move to purchase 200 megawatts of emergency power. Maitri Gunaratne, I put it to you that we in this country don't have a lack of fuel and diesel, and that is what drives our regular machinery, the generators here. So we're experiencing power cuts because we don't have the dollars to buy the fuel. All right, so we don't have the fuel. Now, pray tell me, why should we spend all this money, 200 megawatts of power, and what are we going to run it on? Are we going to use seawater? Or are we going to flush our toilets and send the water down there so they can run the turbines? What on earth is going on? This is shameless, absolutely shameless, that members of this government are contemplating purchasing 200 megawatts of emergency power. We have got enough of generation capacity. Enough. We are only missing the fuel to run that. And somewhere, somebody, some henchaya is going to be making a lot of money.
Definitely.
Why can't we use that money to finish off the Umaoya project, for example?
We have our generation capacity is about 4,700 megawatts of power. Our requirement at the best of times, our requirement is about 3,200, 3,300. So are you telling me that this electricity board, which is paid so much of money, they cannot, from 4,700, they cannot generate 3,000 to 3,200 megawatts of power per day?
I'd like somebody from the CEB or the PUCSL or the Minister of Power to tell me, contact us and tell us the rationale behind asking for 200 megawatts. When we've got so much of generational capacity, we should use that money to be buying the fuel needed to run that. On that note, let's go for a short break. We'll see you on the other side after listening to the headlines for this evening's Primetime News.
Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
And welcome back to Newsline Live. I'm in conversation with Mr. Maitri Gunaratne, President's Counsel, former governor, and activist, I suppose. Now then,
Faraz, before you ask me the next question, can I just say one thing more?
Yes.
That is, Faraz, now you can see that we are going down a slippery slope. People are suffering. But whilst all this is happening, the politicians, the bureaucrats are trying to make money from this situation also. Now, if you take this power crisis, what they are trying to do is, they are going to tell the minister that if you do not buy these 200 megawatts of power, we will have to go in for a 15-hour power cut. Minister, cabinet, president is going to panic. Then what they are going to do is, they are going to approve it. When they approve it, someone makes a hell of a lot of money.
Somehow, I associated these people to have a backbone. Where will their backbone be when they are trying to be? Obviously, these officials are hand in glove with the henchayas, the commission fellows, and they are trying to impose this 200 megawatts. It's absolutely rubbish. How on earth can they run those machines? Because at the end of the day, sometimes it is the CEB who arranges for the fuel for them. So the CEB can't arrange for their own fuel. And they're going to supply the guys with 200 megawatts. And they probably will do it because somebody somewhere is getting paid.
And the other thing is, for us now, when this kind of thing happens, what they are trying to do is, when with declining, people are suffering. I mean, with what heart are they trying to make this money?
They are heartless, they're shameless, and they are without any form of morality or ethics. All of these things have done a quick departure the moment they came into power.
Now, see, for us, with the ban of fertilizer, they bought in nano urea. They made money out of that. They bought in organic fertilizer from China, which was said to be not fit for application in Sri Lanka. They made money out of that. So you can see, with banning, with restrictions, with all this, what they are trying to do is they are trying to make money. And who is paying, who is suffering? It is the general public who is suffering. No one is thinking of, for us, a way forward. How do we take this country forward? What do we sell? What do we can't sell our assets, we can't sell our lands, but what is the business we can transact with the outside world? Take for instance our tea, take for instance our cinnamon and things like that, take for instance our rubber. Now these are things which we can market. Tourism is a thing which we can market. Tourism already, world organizations, world tourist organizations have declared Sri Lanka as one of the safest and the best destinations to go. Where do we stand? Where do we stand?
Somebody, I must answer this question, because somebody is suggesting as to why our group didn't go into the production of milk. Well, you know, I'd like to remind you that back in 1983, our group was burnt to the ground. They burnt us to the ground. God knows what, and only God knows, what the potential would have been for our group had we not been burnt down. And they have still not found out who did it. So I think that's the answer. You know, we've got big names and big capacities,
and
big brands, and well-known brands. And my late chairman, Mr. Rajamahendran, and for a time with his brother, they rebuilt this group despite being burnt to the ground. And you know, as I keep saying, I wonder what we would have been had that not happened, right? So here we are, again, corporates like ours are being forcibly taken backwards. With the imposition of the surcharge tax, if it goes through, there will be some companies who actually will turn into a loss. People who have made maybe 200 million in a group, and a group is not even legally defined properly.
For us, what is happening is the government is sucking the blood of the private sector. The private sector is the only engine of growth in this country. The government is like a parasite. They are just sucking the blood.
So did the last Yapal ministers.
No. All governments for the last 74 years after independence. For us, we are a country where just after independence we were almost par with the dollar. Rupee was par with the dollar.
Yeah.
Today, from that situation, we have now the dollar is officially is 230. Officially it's 230. So what has happened is, for us, during these 74 years, we have been taken to the cleaners, and all our political leaders have not seen it fit.
You mean the sovereign people have been taken to the cleaners?
But one thing I must say, Mrs. Bandaranayake, I mean, she was a housewife, and they were trying to ridicule her. I think it came too fast, but she went for large-scale import substitution projects in Sri Lanka. But if she did it on a proper basis, where it was going to take over, like from percentage, from small percentages to large percentages, it would have been much more effective.
Right.
But what happened was that also came like this fertilizer ban this time, all of a sudden, overnight. So that is what really rocked the country, and that is what caused the 77 popular UNP government to come into power, because there was so much of restrictions. So what I'm saying is, we need to go for import restrictions. We need to go for import substitution. Basically, if you are going for import restrictions, we have to go for substitution, and that has to be done on a long-term basis. If you want, now we can easily, for us, go for import substitution on milk. We can easily go for import substitution on sugar. we can easily go for import substitution of corn.
I was going to laugh when you said sugar, because instead of producing sugar, they've been producing ethanol and all sorts of other things. You know, and the whole idea of the government to give people, you know, to let
the basics,
the sugar, that never worked out. It never worked out.
So what I'm saying is, for us, if you ask me of a way forward, at least in this situation, let us have a 5-year plan, 10-year plan with regard to what we are going to do. Let us get this import substitution sorted out. Do we need to buy fish from abroad? Do we need to get the fish from abroad?
I quite agree with banning that, actually.
No, that's correct. So we have a sea right around us,
yeah.
And if you have to bring fish from abroad, for us, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And even I mean, only thing you will suffer because of the apples, but we can get some apples for you. Yeah. But still, then all those for us can be, other than the apples, other things.
I actually don't like apples. I just picked it out as an example.
Okay, so we can grow all that here for us, and I mean, that's the way forward. That's the way forward. Tourism is a way forward. So who is looking at that? They are bringing all these laws. They are bringing all these laws, and they are permanently forgetting the manner in which we can make money to take this country forward.
I'm wondering what I'm going to say this German tourist who's staying in a hotel not far from here, who spent much of yesterday looking for this dental paste for his dentures. Now I'm going to have to tell him that he'd better get it sent by courier here. I don't know whether he'll need an import permit, but you know, because otherwise he'll have to be toothless.
Dental paste. They may have to go back for us. Those days, in the good old days, they used to use the charcoal.
Yes.
The wood, yeah. the leftover of the wood which was burnt, the charcoal to clean their teeth. So you may be able to tell him that he can try it out here.
Right, but you know, I urge everybody to be very careful with whatever you've got, your phones and so on, because they're all under this ban. It's got 370 items here, right? So, and they're not bans, but you have to get an import license to get it. So I suppose the favored few will be able to get it, and that's the whole thing. The reason I'm saying that, isn't there a trust deficit in this country?
Oh, definitely. No, and the other thing is, for us now, see, we are going in for power cuts. Do you see any government minister, do you see any government official coming and saying, please conserve power? Is there any, even an advertisement?
Had some minister with an 11 million rupee bill.
No, so is there anyone coming and making an appeal? I mean, we are all citizens of this country. We need to also to contribute for the betterment of this country, but they have to come and make an appeal. I can list out for us the government organizations which is wasting power. Air conditioners are on, power is just wasted, fans are just on. Who is looking at all this?
So, Maita Gurat, thank you very much for being on Newsline Live. Thank you.
Thank you, Faraz. Thank you for having me, and hope you'll get your apples with all these restrictions coming in.
I don't like them, but in the meantime, that's the way it was on Newsline Live. It's a serious matter, really, and I think all of us need to do our bit. But we also expect our legislators to do their bit, not to be swanning around in gas-guzzling vehicles and so on and so forth. After all, the roads are much better after Minder finished that bit of it. So why do you need all these sort of SUVs and all that? Just get into a normal car where it can use maybe a hybrid even, so you can conserve power. Everybody needs to do their part, not just the sovereign people, including the legislators. In the meantime, Sri Lanka will place all its hopes on only one thing, apart from God, the judiciary. Take care and good night. God bless.